In your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, you deserve to live your best life. Say goodbye to preconceived notions and let's shatter those stereotypes together. Get ready to own your vitality because age, well, that's just a number.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. We are going to talk today about whether you should be consuming protein before you go to bed. And it's pretty interesting to see some of the research that has come back on this.
And it always changes. So you always want to be on top of what the latest findings are.
Yeah. So before we get into that, real quick, just take a sec and subscribe to the channel and like the video. I just want to make sure you don't miss anything. We are putting out regular content every week, and you want to make sure that you get a hold of that. And so let's get right into it. So the simple answer, should you consume protein before bed? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about the why of it and the what it does. The other thing, we've said this repeatedly, just want to remind you, we are not doctors. If you need to talk to your doctor about your health situation and what that looks like and what your protein intake should be like and things like that, do that, obviously,
yes,
right?
For sure, yeah, so, which is always good.
Yeah, so consider that the very beginning. Now, talking about protein before bed, I should preface that with this. If you're not consuming enough protein during the day, consuming some protein before bed is helpful maybe, but it's certainly not going to be optimal. And we've talked about in other episodes the importance of protein and making sure that you're consuming enough protein. And again, the rule of thumb being 1 gram per pound
minimum
of body weight.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean the body weight that you necessarily weigh right now, if you're carrying 20 or 30 or 40 pounds. It's figuring out what that number is that you want to get to and working from there. Or we've said before, you can get your body composition tested. We've got one episode where we broke down different ways of getting your testing done. And, I myself, I did a DEXA scan because it gives you no wiggle room.
No, whereas I typically use the calipers, but there is room for error in that.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. What does this do, having protein before bed? So it's positive for your muscle strength, for your muscle growth, and there's metabolic benefits as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start with number one. It enhances muscle protein synthesis. So what does that mean? Well, really, it means it's going to help your body or your muscles to grow.
Right.
Okay. When we go to sleep, here's the thing. Typically, we're fasted. Okay. So there's no calories per se in our bodies at that point. So what happens is, if we are fasted, the rate of muscle breakdown as we sleep can exceed the rate of protein synthesis. Consuming protein before bed counteracts that because we have a steady supply of protein to the body that now can get used to rebuild those muscles and do everything else that needs to be done. Right. And really a steady supply of amino acids. And that's what we're looking for because that's what we build muscle from.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was a recent study. Now, this is a very interesting study. 3 groups were taken. One group was given casein, one group was given whey, and one group was given a placebo. So 45 grams of protein. Obviously, the placebo group got nothing.
Right.
And what they found was that the casein group had moderately elevated levels of leucine, which is to be expected, right? That's what everybody was expecting. And leucine is an amino acid that's very important for muscle growth.
Yeah.
Now, here was the surprise. They found that the whey protein group had a quick spike, which was expected because whey protein is easier to digest. However, when the dust settled, over the course of the whole night, the casein group had an 18% increase in protein synthesis. Okay. The whey group had a 35% increase. So what does that mean? It means that the source is less important than making sure you get that protein in. So if you're a casein protein powder person, more power to you.
Yeah.
If you're whey protein, more power to you. Right? If you want to have cottage cheese or an egg before, whatever, as long as that works with your macros.
Yeah. Egg whites or something. Yeah.
Something. You just have to make sure, again, that it works with the macros and how you're set up. So what that does then is helps your muscles to grow. Okay, number 2, helps with muscle endurance. And you may be watching and thinking, well, I like to run and things like that. I'm not so much of a bodybuilder
yeah.
Right? So this is where this is going to be of value for you as somebody who does any kind of endurance work or anything where you want to increase your ability to do something over long term, okay? So here's what that same study found, is they found that there was an increase in mitochondrial protein synthesis by 23% in the casein group and 37% in the whey group, which over the long term means that you're going to increase your oxidative capacity. What does that mean? It means that your muscles use oxygen more efficiently.
That's right.
Running for a long time, doing some kind of long distance activity. And it also reduces the production of lactate and other metabolites that cause fatigue, right? We all know well, maybe you don't know. Lactic acid buildup, it feels like
awful.
And sometimes it's good, right? Like, I'll give you an example. I do, when I do calf work, I don't do heavy calf work, but I do, and I just started training calves this year because I'm blessed to have genetically good calves. But I do my calf work with more reps and usually 4 seconds up, 4 seconds down. And by the end of 15, they're just like white hot, right? That's what we're talking about. So, all right. Number 3, calories you get from a protein shake or your high protein meal will be very unlikely to be stored as fat before bed. Okay, there's a part of we've probably heard, and we've said this about what are you eating before bed.
Before bed, yeah.
Yeah, cake is not the thing to eat before bed.
Ice cream.
Ice cream is not the thing.
Nope.
High carb foods are not
high carb foods
good to eat before bed. We did a whole episode about how to lose fat while you're sleeping, and we talked about that.
Yeah.
So basically what we're talking about here is that any calories that you're taking in will get balanced out by the boost in your metabolism to deal with the food that you put in there, because your metabolism has to, like you have to generate some heat to burn this, the food that you put in
to process the food,
right?
yeah.
Because protein has a higher thermic effect, so your body actually has to generate heat to take care of this. So it has a higher thermic effect than protein and, fats and carbs.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to end up, what does that mean? It means you're going to end up burning more calories digesting.
While you sleep.
Right. And digesting and metabolizing that protein.
Yeah.
Okay. And the last one we're going to talk about today is it has positive effects on your sleep. So we've talked a lot about sleep. You can go back and look at those sleep episodes because it
sleep
is so important. 100%, right? And here's the thing, that when you may shortchange your sleep a couple of nights and then catch up on the weekend. That's great, but you don't get to catch up the recovery time that you missed for your muscles on the times that you shortchanged your sleep. So that's obviously super important. However, now, here's where this applies, talking about the impact on sleep as you get older, okay? So as people age, one of the things that happens is their response to muscle building, protein, it decreases. The protein, their ability to absorb the protein decreases. Consuming protein before bed as you're aging, what can that do for you? Well, it can help you overcome the resistance, the anabolic resistance, by providing a steady supply of amino acids throughout the night and help circumvent that situation. So the study was real simple. They found that there was greater muscle retention and greater strength as well.
Right.
So what does that tell us? When it comes to consuming protein before bed, it has to still be part of your whole macros, your whole lifestyle.
Yeah, it has to fit into your numbers.
Right.
It does. But we're just showing you the value and the importance of it.
Yeah. So you want to make sure that you've got it as part of the overall plan of calories and what all of that looks like. However, it is going to, and whether it's protein powder that you're going to have a shake before bed, whether it's quality protein source, yogurt or cottage cheese, or even eggs or egg whites or something like that, it's going to help you with your muscles growing. It's going to help you, especially as you age and maybe you're experiencing some of that anabolic resistance. It's harder for you to add muscle. It's going to help that a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's, as we've said, it's going to help your sleep. It's going to help your recovery. It's going to help your ability to go for a walk without being out of gas if it's a long walk, right? So there's some pretty significant value to that.
Definitely.
So back to the original question, which we answered at the beginning: should you be taking in protein before bed?
Yes.
So thank you for joining us today. If you haven't, please take a sec and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.